Hi, Bill Dugan, Chairman of the Needham TRIAD Committee. My guest today is Bill O'Donnell of the Registry of Deeds here in Norfolk County. Bill, can you tell us a little bit about your facility here and what you folks do and why it's so important?
Sure. It's a little known arm of government, but it's the principal land record office for all the community land records here in Norfolk County. And when any transaction takes place or a Board of Appeal decision has to be recorded or mortgages or deeds, they get recorded here.
Let's go inside, Bill, and you can show us where your home is in here.
Okay.
Bill, this is the lobby where you'd come in and where you'd get information from your gentleman here.
Well, John Ryan provides great information as part of our customer service. Again, it's a busy building. It's not only people doing registry business, but you have the law library upstairs. A lot of the jurors come in. That's when the jury pool assembles. They assemble upstairs. Now the probation department has offices up there. We try to direct people when they come in. They might be looking for a deed, and what we do is direct them to customer service, which is there. Or if they need research, they head into the registry to do some research.
You've got a display over here that shows about the Registry of Deeds a little. And maybe you want to point out some highlights on that?
Sure. Well, again, we try to provide information. That's the big thing. A lot of the handouts there's information on homesteads. There's information on mortgage discharges, what a mortgage discharge is and what you need to do. And also, we just try to show some of the history. When you think about it, there were 4 presidents born here in Norfolk County. John Adams, John Quincy Adams, George Herbert Walker Bush, and of course John Kennedy. So there's a lot of history here in Norfolk County. So it's not just people come in here, they mainly for business. You have lawyers, you have title examiners, you have engineers, and of course you have the public. It is open to the public. But some people come in here to do genealogical research or to look up who lived in their home. So again, there's plenty of records here, plenty of information, and we welcome all.
Let's move out and see the rest of it.
Sure.
Bill, this is one of your closing rooms where the people can come in and close and do their transactions?
Yes, when we first got here, there weren't rooms to close, and sometimes they were closing, just anywhere. And what we've tried to do is set aside some places where business can be conducted. Now again, our building was built in 1903. It's an older building, and it is a basement, but the facilities people have done a great job. And as you can see here in this room, we try to make use of all our space. The Registry of Deeds, and here in Norfolk County, we're still one of the few counties that prints books. Not only can you do some research with the books, closings take place, and also we have a couple of computers sprinkled around where people can, if there's a quick question they need to do, they just access the computer, because one of the things we've done is put all the records online. If you enter Book 1, Page 1, the first document from 1793 that was recorded here in Norfolk County is visible. And if people want to do research, they have the computers right here in the room to do the research. Whether it's a private citizen or an attorney, a professional, a title examiner, we try to make all this information available to everyone.
Good. Well, let's see the rest of your facility here now.
Great.
What do we have here, Bill?
Well, again, we're in an area where we have closing tables and transactions. But what we have here, and we're very proud to have done it, the historical commissions and historical societies around Norfolk County, we, as a project, solicited for them, please send us a picture and we'll try to blow it up. And so again, even though we may be in a basement, we've tried to decorate it with historical pictures from Norfolk County that were sent by each of the communities of Norfolk County. And we're really appreciative of all the people that were involved in the project. We've gotten good feedback that people actually come in and take a look at it.
Yeah.
And history is a great thing.
It is. And Bill, this is the land court. Can you tell me what the land court does and how it works?
Well, the land court in Norfolk County was established in 1901, and again, someone took the time to get registered property approved through the land court in Boston. The land court sets up certain rules. As Register of Deeds, we're the assistant land court recorders. So in Norfolk County, about 20% of the land is registered land or land court land. And it's a little different. I mean, the deeds are the same, but what happens is a lot of times in the old days, the owner used to have to bring an owner's duplicate certificate of title and present it in order for the transaction to take place. A lot of times people would lose it, and the legislature has changed some of the laws to make it a little easier on people to facilitate the recordings. The properties here in Norfolk County that are in the land court, a lot of that was really a function of history. Some landowner took the time to file a petition in the land court in Boston. The land court has attorneys and engineers that check things out, and they certified the property. So a lot of it's a function of history, that someone was trying to correct a title issue, or there was some issue, and they went to the land court and got a certificate of title. And that's really
And the other
difference.
court, each successive deed depends on the previous deed, really.
Right, but what happens is when in the land court they would go to the books and look up the old certificates of title that have been approved, and then they would transfer them to the new owner.
Yep. So there is a difference, and this is a little more secure in the land court side.
The legislature over time, over history, has put certain protections in place that help the landowner.
If I, as a landowner in Needham, own, and I have it in the other side, as you say, as opposed to land court, should I make a change, or is it not worth worrying about?
A lot of people are trying to get the property out of land court because there are some stringent recording requirements as well.
Okay.
Some people still, register the property because maybe there's a title issue, but a lot of times it's a very expensive and time-consuming process. So
Wherever you are is good, and stay there.
Unless there's some title issue that much like was done over time, you have to straighten out, and that's why they went to the land court initially. That for the most part they were either looking for certain protections, or there were some title issues historically that they were trying to address. And again, when you're using our computers, a lot of times people will look it up and they'll say, well, I can't find my deed. Well, you looked on the recorded land side, which is 80% of the property, but also look on the land court side.
Good, thank you. And Bill, this part of the registry is what over here now?
Well, we're on the recorded land side of the registry. What happens here, we were down in the closing room. A lot of times, once the closing takes place, the deal isn't done until either the deed gets recorded on the land court side, but now we're on the recorded land side, which again, 80% of Norfolk County is on the recorded land side. What I did is picked up an old deed. What would happen is when the transactions came through, they might be coming by horse, and they would present the deed. The recorders would, and you could see, someone had to have good penmanship. That was their job. They would handwrite the deeds out. And you could see all these deeds. They probably picked a couple of people that have great handwriting expertise, and they would transcribe the deed, and the transaction would get recorded. And it's a little different now, as opposed to the scrivener transcribing the deed. Rich will walk you through a transaction right now. There'll be an instantaneous book and page. We put a new system in here that sped up the operation, made it more efficient, where before you had to wait. Now you get an instantaneous book and page. You walk out of here with a receipt that shows you have an instantaneous book and page. You can see there's a monitor there that if somebody was going to record, they could see all the information that's getting recorded on them. And again, that's important because the lawyers or the title examiners, they want to make sure that there isn't some type of lien being put on the properity before
the actual
transaction takes place. But Rich will show you again. It's a little different than 1793, but
basically this is a mortgage that gets sent to us by the mail, and the hardest thing we have to do right now really is count the pages of the document, because that's an important feature for us to issue the book and page right away at the counter. So 15, 16. So we have 16 pages in the mortgage, and we just check if there's an address on the front, make sure it belongs in this county. We have a check for $176, which is the recording fee, and all we do is we put in the amount, the page number, and then we'll just put in the type of document. It's a mortgage, 16 pages. We put in the amount of the mortgage, how much they're borrowing. In this case, it's $517,000.
And the recording fees are set by statute. The state legislature sets the recording fees, and what we do is collect them, and the money goes to most of the money goes to the Department of Revenue, and eventually that money gets used by the state, whether it's for local aid, police, fire, teachers. So
we put in the town, the address, and we just push a button and it tells us, we need to put a check in to pay for the document. So we enter the information on the check. And we validate the check. And here's our receipt.
So again, the person gets a receipt not only showing what they paid, but that, on the date, here it is, and there's the book number, 28647, page 79. And then this document, it starts a process because, certain information has been entered on the computer, and then it goes to the data entry section to enter some more information and to double check the information. And we'll be walking through the other parts of the registry where eventually this document gets scanned, so it's available for viewing on the internet. Again, all the records here are public records, so whether it's by book, it's open to the public, or over the internet, it's all by law a public record, and this document will get scanned, and eventually people can view it over www.norfolkdeeds.org.
Because it used to be when you came in, you had to look at the last minute filings. They were hanging on a spindle someplace at the registry.
Well, a lot of times, even not that long ago, you would check with people who were in the line to make sure they weren't recording a document that affected your property. Now, again, the computers that you see around here, there's a bank of computers for people that are here doing research, but people use these computers also right up to the last minute to make sure that a lien wasn't put on. It could be a tax lien, or it could be some type of attachment. Again, here at the registry, you'll see a lot of the people that are here, they are professionals. They don't work for the registry. They're either lawyers or title examiners, engineers, people from the public coming to use this facility to do research. And again, a building that's an old building built in 1903, but we try to do things. One of the projects from a few years ago, we're always trying to do projects to better the building, was we asked each of the communities to give us a flag. And some of the communities didn't have flags, and actually tried to develop a flag. So all 28 communities have given us a flag. In fact, you could see them all. All 28 communities have flags up there at the record hall.
Very nice. And Bill, these are your new computer terminals that you're so proud of here?
Yes, when we first got here, we knew there was a paralysis of paper here at the registry, and we were trying to make it a more modern operation. And also, it helps the people that are trying to do business here. So we have over 50 public access terminals. So again, you could come here in the registry, do it the old-fashioned way with the books and the indexes, which we still provide, or you can come and use these computers. They're open to the public. One thing we're very proud of, we started, and you'll see a customer service center where people can come in and we try to help them out. We have staff and resources available so they can answer a question. And if people have to call, it's 781-461-6101. That's the customer service line, and you're welcome to either call them or come in to get a copy of your deed or things like that. And that's something to be aware of. All these deeds here, there are groups out there, and it's been publicized on television, in local newspapers, and also the bigger newspapers here in Boston, that you have groups that are soliciting from our consumers here in Norfolk County. Pay them $60, pay them $70. They'll get you a certified copy of the deed. Well, come directly to Norfolk County. Come directly to our customer service department, because that deed costs at the most $2. So don't fall for those solicitations where people are offering to get you a certified copy of a deed for $70 when you can come directly here, 649 High Street in Dedham, or call us, and arrangements can be made to get a certified copy of your deed for, as I said, $2.
And Bill, this is what part of the registry we're in now?
Well, we're going through and we're showing where we've signed the document get recorded and the data entry that takes place. And here, the documents that you see, these original documents, they're getting scanned in. So we used some advances. There's been some advances in technology since I've been here. That the equipment's gotten better, it's gotten faster, gotten more efficient, and the employees here, Diane and Steve do a great job. And these documents, they're double checking a lot of the processes, and then they scan them, and then that allows people to view it over the internet. So again, we're trying to bring the registry into people's businesses and their residences, so you can access all this information from your home computer.
And Bill, this is where you verify those documents that we've just seen scanned?
Yes, it's part of the process. We've had the document, get recorded at the counter, the data entry that gets done to make sure all the information gets entered. You've seen the document get scanned. And what we do is we have a process where the verifiers, as you see Robert in the back, they double check everything. They're like a backstop. Another set of eyes looking at that document to make sure everything is just right, whether it's the legal description, the names on the deeds, and it's part of our process. And eventually, once that gets done, we get the documents put together in the books, and the books get on the shelves. So all the books out there that you see, go through this process to make sure, again, one of the functions is to make sure the documents that we record here are, accurate, and that's a big function,
yeah.
and complete.
And this is your main computer area, and can you tell us what the purpose of this is and how it's backed up and so on?
Sure. Well, when I first got here, a lot of this was open, and what we've done is try to take a business approach to government. And now you can see we try to secure it. You need a pass to get in. So we take steps, because let's face it, the cornerstone of our operation is the computer and the computer system. So we take steps to make sure it's protected. What we've done here to assure the residents of Norfolk County that records are protected, by statute we still have to microfilm. We still microfilm every document that comes in, and that gets stored in up at Iron Mountain in New York. But also with the new computer system, we have a system of backups. Daily backups, weekly backups. And these tape drives, this information is protected, and it gets sent to a renovated nuclear bunker in Rhode Island. So again, we want the residents to know that not only do we have the books here, the old-fashioned way, but if something should happen to the books, we have, not only we can look at the microfilm, we can also look at all the information that's been put on the computers, we back up and store off-site. And that's part of our business continuity plan. We've tried to take an approach, again, run government like a business. Businesses have business continuity plans, and there's no reason government shouldn't as well. So we're always looking at ways to better our disaster recovery protocols, whether the electricity goes out. We're actually in the process of, and shortly we'll have a generator so that,
Still functioning when the power is off.
You could still function, because, let's face it, if you were closing a transaction and you needed that closed to get your interest rate locked in, or you have all the movers ready to go, we try to make sure and take steps to make sure that the business continuity plan that we've looked at potential things that can happen, and we're always looking to improve on that, but to make sure that the registry operations continue no matter what happens.
Bill, this part of your operation is called the what?
Well, the Customer Service Center, and as I
Okay.
had mentioned earlier, you talk about things, my dad, as I said, climbed poles for the Boston Edison for 38 years and said, hey, it's great having all these computer terminals sprinkled around and having all this internet, but some of us have no care to really use the computers. So what we try to do, we're very proud, we started a customer service center. So we have staff here, like Nancy, that people can come in if they have some questions. A lot of times people come by the building, they need a copy of their deed. We've mentioned that if people want to get a copy of the deed, come directly to the Registry of Deeds. Don't be paying someone $70 to get a copy of your deed. Other people just have questions. They want to make sure that a mortgage has been discharged. Some of them think they might have put a homestead on, but they're not sure. So sometimes people come in, there's all kinds of questions, so we try to provide a little guidance, and there's information here that people can use in pamphlets on the homestead and on other issues that we've mentioned.
Can you show us what we would do if I came in? My name is Bill Dugan, and I wonder if I could check on my lot, 29 Pine Street in Needham.
Certainly, Mr. Dugan.
And how do you spell your last name?
D-U-G-A-N.
Got
Yeah,
that.
it's-
William H. Dugan, Jr.
Yeah.
And what would you like to know?
Do we have a registry of deeds, a deed registered here?
And
There are several William H. Dugan deeds in Needham. Most recent being April of 2000 on the property at 29 Pine.
Street, and should be changing the property to a trust?
As trustees of the Pine Street 29 Realty Trust.
And
Okay.
actually, and we could actually print that. And why don't we just print it? And again, People come in with all kinds of questions. Sometimes they need a copy of something, and other times they, just looking for some information. And
Something you
it gets
promised you
provided.
would go on to us a little bit later. Previously, we couldn't, because we were in a trust, we couldn't get a Homestead Act, but you're going to explain to us in a little while how it does work now.
Well, yes, actually, it's timely. The homestead got changed. The homestead law got changed, so they've expanded and changed a few things. So, there's certain interests now that still can. We still take homesteads on trust. The land court, has taken the position that if you put it in trust, you couldn't put a homestead on. But now we will be talking about the changes in the homestead. Right now, when I started as Registry of Deeds, the homestead protection was $300,000, and it was increased during my tenure, to $500,000. And the legislature is making changes. We'll talk a little bit about the homestead changes. So what Nancy's doing is she's printing a copy of your deed. And actually, that got certified. And as I mentioned, the certification, you don't want to be paying some group $70 to come here for what you could get for $2. But it's as easy as that, and the information, again, the advances in the technology and the computers, that's what and good staff, that's what allows it to
Nancy
go
did this
good.
whole thing in about 2 seconds as opposed to 2 hours and that. And you've got a copy of the deed with everything that was there?
Yeah, right, Rick Wendell, you're right, and it went into the, into the trust, and there's the legal description, so, and it was recorded at book 14107, page 247. So when we went through that process of the instantaneous book and page, that gets assigned to that document, the whole time. So, and it has a date when it was recorded.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your help here, and we appreciate it. Bill, one of the other things you said you'd go over with me here is the Homestead Act, and I understand the law has changed to be effective very quickly.
Yes, there was a debate that went on for a number of years, and then legislation got passed that goes into effect on March 16th. Principally what it does is it gives everybody $125,000 worth of protection, even if you don't take the time to declare a homestead by form.
And what kind of protection is that, Bill?
Well, a homestead, again, it's a creature of the state legislature. Chapter 188, Section 1, allows people to declare an estate of homestead on their principal residence. It has to be your principal residence. And what it does, it protects against certain debts. Sometimes people get in trouble. They might get into a car accident and don't have enough insurance, and there's a judgment against them. Sometimes people run up credit card debts. And what the intent of the homestead is to put protections around your principal residence. And I say it all the time, that for most people, the biggest asset they have is their homes, and they should take steps to protect it. We've had outreach programs spreading the word over the years about declaration of homesteads. When I first became Registrar of Deeds, the state legislature had protections of $300,000, and then they upped it to $500,000. So under this new legislation, when I mentioned $125,000, that's for people that haven't taken the steps to declare a homestead. I still think it's incumbent upon people to protect their property. They should declare a homestead. They should make sure a homestead declaration gets recorded here at the Registry of Deeds. Yes, you have $125,000 worth of protection if you don't, and it gets apportioned. If it's 2 spouses, it gets apportioned, so it's just $125 per house. But you really should take steps to take full advantage of the law, full advantage of the protections that are given to you, $500,000. And who knows, that may get increased in the future, because over time, the legislature has increased the amounts. And once that declaration of homestead gets recorded, and as long as it's valid, you can get the benefit of that increase.
Any increase?
And we try to go out at the Registry of Deeds to educate the consumers. And we've sent letters to your senior centers. You have groups out there that are telling people, hey, for $15, we'll send you a homestead form. They won't fill out the form, but for $15, they'll give you a blank homestead form. Again, don't fall for those solicitations. If you go to an attorney, they'd prepare a homestead form, or you can go online at our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org, and download a homestead form for free. So don't pay somebody $15 to get a blank form.
Is this the whole form, Bill?
Yes, basically, at least, the homestead form that we download, what you would do, we've gone through the land court. If you have land court property, there's a spot here, the certificate of title number would get put in. If you have recorded land, we're on the recorded land side, we would put the book and page. And when we go out to our office hours at the senior centers or at the town halls, and people want to put a homestead on, this is the information we can look up over the computer, over the internet, and that's the information that gets filled out. People could do it at home. You're just going to make sure that when it gets notarized, it gets properly notarized in front of a notary. And again, the filing fee set by the state legislature, the filing fee here in Norfolk County is $36, which is one of the lowest fees around, and people should take advantage of protecting themselves.
It's $500,000 worth of insurance for $36.
Yes.
One time.
Yes, because, and again, hopefully, most people will never have to use it or have it there, but it's there to protect you. And you know what? People sometimes get themselves in situations. The new law also has expanded. Here in Norfolk County, I always viewed it as a consumer protection right, so we did take homesteads on the recorded side anyway. Land court has their own rules, for life estates and trusts, and the new legislation is sort of, has put in place kind of declaring, you should
Specifically included
you should
those
do it for condominiums, co-ops. We always did that anyway, but I think they were making clear. If you have a manufactured home, again, in some areas of Massachusetts, you used to have to record it at the town clerk's office. Now they've said, no, come to the registry. They're the ones that have dealt with the homestead, and that's where you should record them. The homestead also protects insurance and sale proceeds until a new home is purchased for up to 1 year. So, there are certain protections that have been put in place that people should take advantage of.
Steve's got a second one here. Oh, it says the Declaration of Homestead for elderly and disabled persons.
Elderly or disabled, again, the legislature has set the requirements as far as what is a disabled person. You have to look at the requirements of the Social Security Administration. There also has to be a medical letter, from a licensed physician. Elderly is defined as 62 or older by the legislature.
Put my hand up.
The big thing is to get a homestead on. But there are particulars in the statute, and again, it really is important on the consumer to take steps to protect themselves.
Is there any difference between an elderly homestead and a regular homestead other than?
Well, some of the new legislation we're analyzing, and you're going to, again, there's going to be case law, I'm sure. There's some question of whether you can stack policies and things like that. Okay. But so that remains to be seen, but bottom line is you just want to get a declaration of homestead declared.
And coming to the Registry of Deeds, you can get the pamphlet that tells you how to do it, and it's only about 10 simple questions and blank spots.
Well, that's what we do. We have some information here. There's some good information. A lot of times people didn't realize that sometimes there was language in their mortgages when they refinanced that maybe voided their homestead. The new legislation tries to address that if you have a valid existing mortgage, it can't be voided because of a refinance. So there's like anything, there's always going to be some legal questions. People should, consult an attorney, their attorney if they have some real specific questions. But clearly, the Massachusetts Homestead Act is a law that every homeowner that owns property as their principal residence should take advantage of.
And I'm sure, in keeping with the way we've dealt with you before, that there is a supply of these that can be available at the Needham channel.
As I said, we try to use the internet, and again, a lot of the town halls have been great. A lot of the senior centers, we have information pamphlets here, not only about the deed scam, about the homesteads, and we try to put these out not just here at the Registry of Deeds, but in the community so people can have access to them.
Okay, and if they want to pick these up at the Needham channel, it's at 257 Chestnut Street. Mark Mandel would love to have you come down and visit and pick up the paperwork there. He's not going to help you do the fill out, but then you have to come to the registry to file it.
That's right.
For the monumental fee of $36?
The filing fee is set by the legislature is $36 for a declaration of homestead, and again, it's something well worth doing.
We thank you.
Bill, thank you for coming by the registry.
Registrar Bill O'Donnell of the Norfolk County Registry. And remember, gray hair is good.